They will not follow you because you are right. They will follow you because they believe you win. Reputation is not the truth. It is the armor others imagine you wear. It is the shadow cast by your perceived strength, not your substance. You may be hollow within, breaking, doubting, unraveling. But if the shadow remains tall, the world kneels. Do not mistake applause for loyalty. Do not mistake silence for obedience, and never mistake admiration for safety. In the game of power, reputation is the currency that buys hesitation in your enemies, deference in your allies, and submission in the undecided. Spend it like gold, not water. Every move you make leaves a trace, and every trace is a whisper in the court of perception. These whispers become judgment. Judgment becomes narrative. Narrative becomes power. Your reputation will walk into rooms you never enter. It will sit at tables long after you are gone. It will command or condemn in your absence. That is its use. That is its danger. The masses need to believe, not in virtue but in strength, in certainty, in inevitability. Reputation is the illusion of inevitability. To appear untouchable is better than to be untouchable, because the former multiplies fear without the cost of war. But reputation, like all tools, rusts. It can be stolen, it can be broken, it can turn on its master. The same myth that elevates you will crucify you when the wind shifts. Therefore, feed your myth, but never believe it. Shape your image, but never become its prisoner. The wise ruler knows reputation is not identity, it is strategy. You are not your reflection, you are the hand behind the mirror. Let others chase fame like moths to flame. You build a myth that breathes just enough fear to silence rebellion, just enough hope to bind loyalty. Control the story others tell about you, or they will write your fall before it begins. A reputation for cruelty can be useful, but only if wielded with precision. Too much, and you become a tyrant. Too little, and you are mistaken for prey. Balance is not mercy, it is calculation. Generosity may win hearts, but it empties your treasury. Mercy may win love, but love without fear is fickle. A reputation for invincibility is more useful than invincibility itself, because belief bends the battlefield before the sword is drawn. Never explain. The moment you explain, you concede that your legitimacy depends on understanding. It does not. It depends on belief. If you must be loved, let it be at a distance. If you must be feared, let it be up close. Those who burn their reputation to prove their goodness end up powerless martyrs to causes no one remembers. Those who hoard reputation but never risk it become statues admired, irrelevant. The art lies in knowing when to spend it, not for vanity, not for applause, but for advantage. You spend reputation to buy silence, loyalty, hesitation. You invest it in appearances, the theater of strength. You sacrifice pieces of it to save the throne. And if you fall as all do, eventually fall in silence. Let your myth live longer than your reign. Let them wonder if you are truly gone. Let your name echo like a warning, not because you were good, but because you were necessary. Reputation is not earned once it is managed daily, curated like a kingdom of smoke. Each act, each gesture, each silence, they are not random. They are bricks in the edifice others believe you dwell in. You do not need to be moral. You need to be legible. Your image must be understood in a single breath, decisive, feared, respected, not questioned. Those who provoke hesitation in their enemies survive longer than those who provoke admiration. Let the people say you are brutal, so long as they say nothing else. Let them whisper of your wrath, it means they believe you hear everything. Every betrayal begins in a private calculation. Make the cost of betrayal so heavy, so uncertain, that even your enemies pause before lifting the knife. That pause is power, that pause is survival. The fool seeks to cleanse his name when dirt is thrown. The ruler lets the dirt dry, then weaponizes it. If they believe you are capable of atrocity, they will not test your restraint. Control is not maintained by being seen. It is maintained by being imagined. The less they see, the more they invent. Feed them fragments. Let them draw their own chains. There is no virtue in transparency. A ruler must never be entirely known. If they understand you, they can predict you. If they can predict you, they can replace you. Reputation is not just for the world. It is for your inner circle. A general does not follow a hesitant prince. A court does not bleed for a ruler they pity. Even your closest allies must believe you are capable of walking alone. Trust is not built on truth. It is built on consistency. Give them the same shadow every time, and they will follow it into fire. When they cheer your victories, hear only their expectations rising. When they mourn your failures, know they are rehearsing your downfall. Reputation binds both. It keeps them tethered to your momentum. The moment they think they can live without you, they begin building a future in which you are absent. You must preempt that future with fear, with indispensability, with the performance of power. Power is never held, it is performed, and reputation is the stage. Do not chase purity, chase perception. Purity is brittle, perception bends, and in that bending, it captures kingdoms. A ruler's smile must be rare, not because joy is weakness, but because familiarity erodes mystery. Mystery is distance, and distance is reverence. Do not beg to be understood. Let them wonder. Wonder keeps blades sheathed. When your name becomes a rumor of strength, a memory of vengeance, a lesson passed from father to son, you have ruled well, even in exile, even in death. Spill blood if it strengthens your myth. Spare lives if it extends your legend. In the end, memory obeys spectacle, not truth. Reputation is not about being seen. It is about being felt in decisions, in silences, in the hesitation before resistance. The wise leader does not seek justice. He seeks influence. Justice is a language. Influence is command. Learn the difference. Speak both. There is no honor in obscurity. There is no safety in invisibility. To be feared is to be known. To be known is to be calculated into every move. Make your reputation heavier than your presence. Let it weigh on every conversation where your name is spoken. They should not ask what you want. They should fear what you will do if denied. Charm is a tactic. Fear is an asset. Love is a liability. Use each, but know which one buys silence when the knives are drawn. When enemies conspire, it is not your policies they fear. It is the myth you've built. That is what they gather to destroy. That is what you must defend without flinching. A ruler who values his image more than his influence will fall smiling, applauded, irrelevant. A ruler who bleeds his image to extend his reach will outlive his era. Do not cling to reputation like a crown. Wield it like a sword. To retreat is not to fail. It is to preserve the myth for another strike. The enemy that believes you have vanished is the most vulnerable. Let history paint you harsh. Let poets curse your name. But let every successor carry your shadow in their spine. Reputation is not immortality, but it is the closest thing a ruler can touch. So spend it carefully, not as proof of virtue, but as the price of dominion. Let the world misunderstand your intentions, never your resolve. Let them question your morality, never your capacity. Let them fear the price of your anger more than the pain of disobedience. Reputation is your first army. It fights wars before you raise a blade. It breaks alliances before words are spoken. It silences dissent without surveillance. It governs without governance. But only if you feed it with acts that echo, with silences that unnerve, with presence that tightens throats and accelerates allegiance. Reputation is not what they see. It's what they feel when your name is mentioned in the room you're not in. And the moment they stop feeling anything, you are already dethroned. Continue your reign not by presence, but by echo. Let your myth precede you. Let it terrify. Let it awe. Let it command. Spend it not to please. Spend it to rule. Reputation is currency. Spend it carefully. And never forget, you will die, but your shadow may outlive empires. A ruler's body is mortal, but his name, if etched in fear and memory, becomes a banner long after his bones have crumbled. You will be buried like any other man. But if you master the economy of reputation, you will not be buried alone. Your image will remain in rooms where laws are drafted, in silences that decide wars, in the eyes of those who inherit your throne and curse the weight of your legend. That is the ultimate victory. Not survival, but spectral dominion. Your enemies will try to strip you of this armor, not with swords, but with ridicule. They will laugh at your myth, hoping others will too, because once laughter takes root, reverence dies. And so you must kill the joke before it spreads. A myth does not survive irony. It survives through awe. Never let familiarity dilute your gravity. Do not show them the man behind the mask unless it serves a deeper manipulation. If they see you bleed, make sure they believe the blood is fire. If they see you fall, ensure they believe it is a feint. There is no space for confession in power, only design. When you enter a room, speak last. When you speak, speak with finality. Repetition is for servants. Ambiguity is for poets. The ruler speaks to be obeyed, not to be understood. A reputation for unpredictability can be more dangerous than one for cruelty. Let them wonder what boundary you will cross next. Let them believe no insult is too small for reprisal. Let every slight feel like the beginning of a catastrophe. This is how you stay unchallenged, not by reason, but by terror dressed in restraint. Do not fear being called ruthless. Fear being called weak. Weakness is the invitation every opportunist awaits. It is not their morality that holds them back. It is your perceived invulnerability. Once that is gone, so are they. Betrayal is not personal. It is mathematical. It occurs when the benefit of your death outweighs the risk of your survival. Reputation tips that scale. If they believe your revenge will be biblical, they will tolerate your reign. Not because they love it, but because they love themselves more. Loyalty is a transaction. Reputation is the collateral. The moment your value declines, so does their allegiance. This is not cynicism. It is engineering. You cannot make them love you forever, but you can make them remember you with clenched fists and lowered voices. That is enough. That is rule. A single public humiliation can collapse a decade of strength. One moment of apology can undo the theater of fear. Resist that temptation. The masses will always demand repentance. What they need is dominance wrapped in silence. Give them the illusion of access, never the reality. Let them see your surface, never your strategy. Transparency is the death of strategy, and strategy is the bloodstream of command. To rule is to choreograph perception. Let them think they know your intentions and lead them into miscalculation. The truest blow is not the strongest, it is the one they never prepared for. Build your myth slowly, like a fortress. Each act a stone, each word mortar, each silence a watchtower. Do not rush. Reputation built fast burns fast. Let it calcify. Let it outlive the need for proof. Speak rarely, but let the echoes of your words last longer than speeches. Let them argue about what you meant. Ambiguity sharpens your legend. When your rivals rise, do not crush them with noise. Smother them in invisibility. Deny them the fuel of opposition. Let them shout into silence. Let them decay in relevance. A reputation for quiet execution terrifies more than any parade of swords. Survival is not enough. Any animal can survive. Rule requires that others adapt to your presence like gravity. That is what reputation achieves, not applause, but inevitability. Remember, even the wise rebel if they believe they will not be punished. Make belief in punishment a constant, even if you never lift a hand. Let fear do the work of the blade. And yet, be selective. Punish one to instruct 1,000, but do it with elegance. Clumsiness in vengeance weakens fear. Precision multiplies it. A ruler does not need to win every battle, only the narrative. If defeat can be reframed as strategy, if retreat can be sculpted into wisdom, then reputation remains intact. Never let reality outpace the illusion you project. You are not just defending your crown, you are defending a symbol. The moment they see a man, not a myth, you are dethroned, even if you still sit on the chair. Reputation, like gold, is melted and recast. Use defeat to refine it. Use scandal to reshape it. Use silence to polish it, but never abandon it. Without it, you are not a leader. You are just another voice. Your portrait will hang in halls of history, not because you were kind or noble or just, but because you made men kneel who swore they never would. That is the currency of legend. That is the price of relevance. When they write about you, centuries from now, let it not be with nostalgia, let it be with caution. Let your name be invoked not to inspire, but to remind. Power is not inherited, it is demonstrated, and reputation is its blade. You were not born to be liked, you were born to be remembered. So, spend your reputation as a master, spends coin sparingly, tactically, only to multiply command. Spend it to secure silence where chaos brews. Spend it to freeze ambition where betrayal grows. Spend it to signal strength, not to prove it. Reputation is currency. And you are the mint. Your enemies will count your allies. Let them. What they must never count is your resolve. Reputation is the veil that hides your will, sharpens your words, cloaks your weaknesses. Even when you are unsure, your myth must speak with certainty. A ruler who doubts in silence is still a ruler. A ruler who doubts aloud invites succession. There are no second chances once the scent of hesitation escapes. They will move like wolves toward the exposed throat. Control perception or be controlled by it. This is not paranoia. It is the architecture of power. He who loses control of his image loses control of his command. The illusion of invincibility is more enduring than invincibility itself. Let them think you see what they cannot. Let them believe you know what they will do before they do. In time, they will begin to fulfill your prophecy. Build mirrors around you, but let none reflect your true face. Your court must think they understand you, each from a different angle, and yet none fully. That space between their assumptions and your reality is your sanctuary. You will be imitated. That is the tax of dominance. Let them. Imitation is confession. They admit your form is the standard, but ensure they always fall short. Make the space between the copy and the original a reminder of your mastery. When rivals echo your style, shift the tone. When they learn your rhythm, change the tempo. You must always be a step ahead, not in policy, but in persona. Policy governs nations. Persona governs minds. Do not seek clarity. Seek consequence. Your words must not be dissected, they must linger. If they understand you completely, they no longer need you. Let every decision carry layers. Let every victory conceal its price. Let every punishment whisper its lesson long after the wound closes. That is how you lead beyond presence through the gravity of suggestion. Reputation is not a shield. It is a spear. Defensive rulers are dead rulers. Act first, in shadow, if not in daylight. Let your enemies scramble to interpret what has already been decided. Let them believe your silence is strategy, even when it is fatigue. Let them think your hesitation is calculation, even when it is pain. If your myth is strong, they will attribute power to your weakness. And when you fall, fall deliberately. Never collapse. Withdraw like tide, not like ruin. Leave enough silence in your absence for myths to ferment. The successor who walks in your shadow must flinch as he does it. That is the legacy of a ruler who spent his reputation with care. You cannot control the world, but you can shape the lens through which the world sees you. And in politics, that is more powerful than control. You will be accused. Let them accuse. The louder they scream, the more they confirm your importance. Only the powerful are worth hating. Do not seek peace, maintain balance. Peace is temporary. Balance is managed tension. Reputation helps you weigh the scale without showing your hand. Never give them a moment they can define. Define it first, even your mistakes, especially your mistakes. If they write your fall, make sure you supply the ink. Be cruel when cruelty buys time. Be kind when kindness purchases allegiance. But always let them believe your kindness is conditional. That is the wire that holds loyalty taut. You will not be the wisest. You will not be the strongest. But if you are the most feared, if your reputation paralyzes their decisions before they make them, you have already won. The masses forget acts. They remember patterns. Shape your myth through repetition. Be decisive. Be cold when necessary. Be just when useful. Be distant always. Consistency builds belief. And belief sustains fear. Do not advertise mercy. Let it surprise. Let it feel rare, costly, unpredictable. Generosity loses power when expected. Cruelty, when constant, loses edge. Rotate them. Unsettle expectation. Confusion is control. Make your enemies believe they are seen, even when they are not. Paranoia is a leash they tighten themselves. Build nothing too perfect. A perfect image invites demolition. Leave imperfections that conceal the true strengths. Lead them to underestimate, then punish the mistake. Be wary of those who praise you too eagerly. They are not applauding you. They are investing in your ascent, and when your value dips, they will trade you for another coin. Reputation must not only intimidate, it must fatigue. Your presence should drain resistance, not provoke it. When they tire of opposing you before they begin, that is power. Do not attempt to correct every lie. Choose which lies to amplify. The myth you feed becomes the mask they believe, and sometimes the mask is more powerful than the face beneath. There will come a moment when your name is all you have. No army, no title, no state. Just a name sharp as history's edge. Spend your years forging it. So when the world forgets everything else, it remembers you. Spend your reputation with patience. Burn it only when the flames will light the path forward or set fire to your enemy's illusions. Each choice you make is a bid, a wager. Your currency is the belief others place in your inevitability. Spend wisely or vanish in debt. Reputation is currency, and when spent well, it becomes power beyond presence, control beyond force, and legacy beyond life. This is the cost of command. This is the weight of rule. Not virtue, not justice, but image sharpened into fate. Let them call you ruthless. It means they still believe you're capable of punishment. Let them call you distant. It means they don't confuse you for one of them. Let them fear that even in silence, you are watching. That fear is the foundation of order. Do not correct their myths. Channel them. The false stories about you are not weaknesses, they are instruments. Every rumor is a knife that can be turned toward your advantage if you hold it by the blade. The sovereign who needs to explain himself is already weak. Those who rule explain nothing. Their actions justify themselves or go unanswered. Silence, when rooted in power, is more deafening than 1,000 speeches. Let others trade in honesty. You trade in perception. What is seen, what is heard, what is felt, that is what bends the will of the governed. Truth is optional. Control is not. Beware the temptation of being liked. To be liked is to be owned. What they like, they expect to shape. What they fear, they dare not touch. Even when you show mercy, make sure it tastes like your mercy, not their right. If they come to believe you owe them kindness, they will demand it as tribute. Better they receive it like thunder gives rain rare, arbitrary, divine. The strongest rulers do not ask to be followed. They make the alternative unthinkable. Reputation does not persuade. It removes the need to persuade. Govern not just with law, but with aura. Your presence must carry consequence. Your name must end conversations. Your image must stir unease in those who think too loudly. Every public act is a signal. Every private act is a calculation. You do not have the luxury of impulse. Even your weaknesses must appear sculpted. Never compete where you can dominate. Never argue where you can decree. Never apologize where silence will suffice. If you must admit failure, wrap it in inevitability. Let them believe the outcome was always yours to determine. Control the post-mortem. Own the autopsy. If you lost, let them think you allowed it. The most dangerous man is not the loud one, but the one whose silence changes the air. Become that silence. Let your presence be a weight they carry in your absence. When you reward, make it public. When you punish, make it legendary. Justice is not about fairness. It is about impression. What they feel matters more than what they deserve. Never chase forgiveness. Let it chase you. If they seek reconciliation, make them earn it. If you seek it, you concede. That is not leadership. That is surrender in disguise. Never reveal your final weapon. Always leave them wondering what remains. What haven't they seen? What are you still capable of? That doubt is your ally more loyal than any advisor. To maintain power, you must occasionally surprise even yourself. Hesitation is visible. Instinct, sharpened through preparation, appears as genius. Be ready to act in ways that make your enemies blink. Be ready to pay prices others won't. Let your friends fear disappointing you more than your enemies fear opposing you. This is how loyalty is enforced, not by love, but by the dread of exclusion. Your court must feel that proximity to you is both privilege and peril. Keep them close but not comfortable. A loyal subordinate must always be slightly afraid. Be generous with opportunities, not forgiveness. Let them rise under your reign, but let them know you built their ascent, and you can dismantle it without raising your voice. Speak rarely of principles. Speak constantly of results. The masses remember outcomes, not ethics. Their loyalty is purchased with visible victories. If your methods offend, but your enemies fall, you will be feared. If your methods please, but your throne crumbles, you will be forgotten. Choose. History does not crown the kind. It crowns the consequential. Better to be remembered as the fire than as the candle. They will say you were cruel. They will say you were cold. But if they whisper it with caution, if they speak it with eyes downcast, you ruled well. You do not need to be eternal, only irreversible. Let your rule change the terrain so completely that nothing after you resembles what came before. In every generation, there are rulers who are tolerated, and those who are imprinted. Be the latter. Reputation is not about who you are. It is about what others dare not become. If they fear being you, they will not challenge you. Give them order, and they will endure injustice. Give them clarity, and they will excuse cruelty. Give them results, and they will rewrite your sins into necessity. Make no mistake, the world is not ruled by reason. It is ruled by narrative. Control yours, or become a footnote in someone else's story. Reputation is not maintained through truth. It is maintained through rhythm. Appear inevitable. Speak rarely. Punish swiftly. Forgive slowly. And let them believe that to serve you is to serve survival. You are not a man. You are a system. You are not a person. You are a presence. Build that illusion so well that even you begin to see it. And when the time comes, when the blade turns toward you, when the tide withdraws, when your reign fades, let your fall be thunder, not silence. Let it scare those who inherit your mantle. Let it make them tremble at the cost of trying to be you. A ruler dies, but a reputation, if spent wisely, becomes the storm that shapes centuries. So rule, spend carefully, burn strategically, leave scars on the world, not handshakes. Reputation is currency, and you, if you would rule, must become the banker of fear, the merchant of memory, the architect of myth. Govern with that in your veins, and you will never be truly defeated, only replaced with echoes. But understand this: all reputation, no matter how formidable, is a wasting asset. It burns with every use, fades with every echo. The myth you sculpt today will be chipped by time, recast by enemies, misunderstood by those who inherit your throne. That is the cost, that is the curse. You will be betrayed by those who once knelt. You will be worshipped by those who never knew you. Statues will rise in your name, built by men who would have feared your shadow, and torn down by children who never felt your rule. Do not seek justice in legacy. Seek permanence in effect. Did your presence reorder the world? Did your will rewrite the instincts of power? If so, it is enough. You were never here to be loved. You were here to be consequential. There will be no applause at the end, no pure reckoning, no perfect judgment, just the slow, cold erosion of your myth unless you build it from iron, blood, and silence. And when your name is spoken for the last time, whispered not with fondness, but with calculation, then you will know. You ruled. Not because they remember your face, but because they still live by the fears you taught them to feel. That is the final measure, not the crown, not the palace, not the anthem. But this, long after you are gone, they still act as if you might return. Reputation is currency. Spend it carefully, and leave behind a debt the world cannot repay.